Good afternoon. Welcome to the Holy Land. I'm R Avraham Shira, and we have a little piece of Zohar just popped out of nowhere, as always. Just when you need something to say and it just pops into your head, well, it just pops out of the Zohar. It has to do with Shabbat and Pesach. And tonight is the Shabbat HaGadol, the great Shabbat before Pesach. And it's the last Shabbat that the Jewish people would have in exile. Now, they didn't have the official Shabbat as we know it, because they were slaves in Egypt. But there was a tradition from their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of Shabbat. See, all the Jewish antecedents of the mitzvot were performed by the patriarchs with divine inspiration. And they eventually became the practices that we still keep today. So there is that very important connection. Amar Rabbi Chia, the Zohar begins in Parshat Acharei Mot. Yom Ahad, Havenu Azel ba'archa demechach gebed de Rabbi Shimon. One day we were going along the way to go see our master, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Lemelav mineh, to learn from him, Parshata de Pischa, the portion of the Passover offering. Ara'it bahad Torah, and they found themselves on a certain mountain. Now, oftentimes, finding yourself on a mountain in Zohar is a code. It's a code for entering into a trance state. And there's several codes in the Talmud that follow the same pattern. They were walking in the desert. They were on a boat at sea. They're all metaphors for the tzaddik entering a trance. And remember that, because oftentimes the funny thing about a trance is you won't know you're going into it until you're already into it. And oftentimes you won't even know you were into it until you're out of it. And it's a little different than sleep, because usually in sleep, you know when you're feeling like you're going to sleep and then when you wake up. But the trance is not the same, because you really are somewhere else. So they found themselves amidst the mountain, and they saw there were valleys and dips and rises in the stones, in the rocks. Sounds like small canyons, right? And then on one mountain they saw two people talking. Okay, what they were doing there, we're not sure. And when we were going, we heard their voices. Dinum guvrim, of these people, and they were saying not just any old thing, they were singing a Tehillim, Memchet, Shir Mizmor Livnei Korach. The song, and Mizmor is a type of song, and Shir is a type of song. There are 10 types of song, the Zohar reveals, and Rabbi Nachman built a big part of the Tikkun HaKlali from the 10 types of song, because 10 types of song remove 10 types of poisons in this world. And we know that the power of music is tremendous, but when we talk about holy music, then it has the real power to remove the poisons of this life. Okay, and so Mizmor, Shir Mizmor is a strange conjunction of types of song together that we don't often see. But to the sons of Korach, who were tzaddikim, now Korach was not in good shape. Him and his people ended up, you'll see where they ended up. But his sons saw their father and his activities and said, we don't want to be like him. And they did tshuva, and for that their songs were written into the book of Psalms, to show, to give us strength to make the right decisions, even if the people around us, including our family, are not. And the song goes, Gadol Adonai, from Bnei Korach, great is God, Adonai Mehulal Me'od, and he is very, very praised. Okay. Well, my Shir Mizmor, but why is it written with this double language, Shir Mizmor? It could be just Shir, it could be Mizmor. We have both cases in the book of Psalms. Ela hachi tana v'shmei de Rabbi Shimon, but it's taught in the name of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai this. Shir diu kaful. It is the song that is doubled. Shir diu meshubach v'shar shirim, the song that is praised more than any other song. V'aldi'ihu mishubach mishar shirin, and on this that it is the most praised of all songs. Terein zimni nitzmar be shirata. Therefore, it's given the double language shir mizmor to teach you that this is a song of many, many songs, a great song above all songs. But we also see this mizmor shir liyom haShabbat. It's the reverse language. Shir mizmor, here is mizmor shir. But we still see the double title. And that double title is not an extra use of words or the authors of Tehillim. There were 10 authors of Tehillim. King David was the major player in the production, but there were 9 other authors of Psalms in the book of Psalms. And this time it's written in reverse order, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. A song of songs, a beautiful song, a masterful song for the day of Shabbat. And this Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, we also know is the Rashi Tevot, the first letters of Le Moshe. And it tells us that this song was recaptured, shall we say, remembered by Moses. But there are some that attribute this song actually to Adam HaRishon, the first man. After what happened on the first Shabbat, he needed to sing. He needed to pick himself up a little bit. Now, and so too in this manner, King Solomon wrote the Song of Songs with that double language title. Shirata le'ela min shirata, song above song. Now, we're not talking about the top 100 hits, right? So when it's talking about a song of songs, it's always talking about a song that's closer to the source of the life of all life. Its holiness has more power embedded in its letters, in its words, in its phrases. Because there are 10 types of prophecy, 10 levels of prophetic experience. You could have one and not even know it's happening to you till after the fact. And there are, of course, many that we might never have. And that's not the purpose of serving a God, is that we have prophetic experience, because the only reason you get a prophetic experience is because God's trying to communicate to you and you're hard to get to. You know, if you're easy to get to, God can talk to you very directly. But nonetheless, the point, of course, is that this song of songs, this Shir HaShirim, this Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, this Shir Mizmor LeBnei Korach, all these double languages of song are teaching us about the holy influence of the song, that it is extraordinary. But look where the Zohar takes us. The Shir Mizmor, this first form, the Bnei Korach, remember Bnei Korach and his merry men, the earth opened up and swallowed them, and they didn't end up in a little cafe down below the ground. Okay? Shirata dekucha berichu, this is the song of God. Wait a minute. The song of God is the song of the sons of Korach, who were outside the hole when they saw their father and his followers fall in the hole. 250 men fall in a hole in the ground. It's a bit dramatic, you know. You know, you've seen videos of, God forbid, of these kinds of things that happen. But they're calling the song of God. That doesn't kind of fit with our idea of the song of God. It should be this awesome symphony, this never before written or sung thing. But it's written by the sons of Korah. In other words, they got to this level of tshuva, of return to Hashem, because the hardest time it is to return to Hashem when everybody else is going the other way. As we know, it's very easy when everybody says, let's go to serve God, let's go to the mountain, let's go to the Har Abayit, let's go somewhere holy and serve God. Then it's easy when everybody's going. But everybody's saying, no, why would you want to go there, waste your time? That's when you stand up and you sanctify God's name. And that's what the sons of Korach did. And therefore they were blessed with the holy inspiration to write this song. Now, this song about Inun Hadayat Ve'al Picha de Gehinnom, this song is really speaking about those who are sitting at the gates of hell. That's not a good place to sit. That's not a seat you want. Umani Nun, and who are these people that are sitting at the gates of hell? Ahuhon de inun yatve b'tarei Gehinnom. They're the brothers of those who are sitting at the gates of hell. In other words, the Korach had brothers, sons, and they had many brothers and sisters. He probably had more than one wife. Valda shirata da biyom sheni itmar. And this song is said on the second day of the week, which in English we call Monday, because every day there's a certain Tehillim that we say that day. So look at the picture. We've got the gates of Gehinnom open. It's a place you don't want to go. It's not a stadium you want to enter. And they're sitting there and they're singing this song from God's inspiration to those who are destined to walk in there or maybe be pushed. And we got close to them. We said to them, what are you doing here at the gates of hell? Amru mizabnei anan. We are salesmen. Interesting. They had salesmen back in the day, right? Utrein yomed b'shabbat b'dilam b'yeshuva, and 2 days of the week we don't work. That's another sanctification of God's name. 2 of the days of the week we don't work, and what do? Na'asok ba'oraita, we learn Torah. See, so this is an example for the, billions of salesmen are out there. Who knows how many, right? That as hard as it is to be a salesman, and I tried it a little bit. I went off to learn a profession. I said this every day, phone calls, knocking on doors, facing rejection, making lost calls in the middle of nowhere, and people are happy to give you a glass of tea, but they don't want to buy anything. It's a tough profession being a salesman. Anybody who's done it knows it. And there are a few salesmen in my family that I tried to learn from, and learned that I didn't want to spend my life doing this. I want to spend my life doing what we're doing right now. Thank God, right? But they're still Nasok Baraita. They're still sanctifying 2 days of the week to learn Torah. Begin to lo shavkin lo b'nei nasha kol yoma yoma yoma, because on those days that they're not busy with busyness, right? Amena zaka'an hukehon, and we said to them, so the days that people are not doing business, they're not working. You don't go to the store and just sit there waiting for one client because you got nothing else to do. I always have something else to do. I always have the Beit Midrash, or my office, or the front yard, or the backyard, or Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, or the Kever Rachel, or the Chevron, the cave of the patriarchs. There's always something to do in Judaism, which for me is a wonderful thing, because boredom is the worst thing. Boredom leads to idleness, and idleness, the Torah, the sages teach us, leads us to sin. God forbid. Okay. So, but the point is that we're getting this picture of these people that God's song is sung in the lowest places, at the gates of hell. And it's a song of people that are returning to Hashem from the gates of hell. And it's connected to the idea of the song of the day of Shabbat. Because Shabbat is tshuva. It's the same root letters. Shabbat is when we become ourselves again. We don't become ourselves on Saturday night when we go back to work and check the daily calendar. And all week long we're ourselves, and then suddenly on Friday we become something special. That's a nice way to look at it. I'm not, putting that down. But the real truth is that at Shabbat we are our true selves. And conforming to the divine pattern that we were created in, of the 10 powers of the soul and the 5 families of the soul, and there's many different ways that the Kabbalah breaks up the pieces of the soul that are all part of a composite unity of powers: your mind, your heart, your body, the right hand of giving, the left hand of receiving, the central column of truth and beauty. All these powers are in our soul. And we get an extra download on Shabbat. And that's who we really are. Because who we really are is not who we are down here. Who we really are is what we are when we're in our fixed, altered, perfected state. And we come down here and we fall through these little filters of consciousness, and suddenly we forget who we are. We forget there's even a God, or a Torah, or a Moses, or any of these ideas. And that gives God the extra pleasure when we come back to the idea. And that's what Shabbat gives us. So we should merit to sing the song of Monday, right? Monday, Monday. I don't think that's it, right? Close, right? But the songs of the Bnei Korach, who sang at the gates of hell, for the souls going in there to show us the way back. And the way back is through song. And that removes the poison of experience here. Because this world is filled with poisons. Turn the phone. You'll see the poison right there. In full-blown international colors. And all the terrible things that happen. And you're like, you get bombarded, and all you want to do is turn off the phone. And today my wife and I went out to the forest to get away from everything, just from shopping. Shopping on Pesach, you know what that is? Well, Erev Pesach, it's like, I don't think I want to be here. I'd rather not, because you get a high from spending money, but you get an anxiety about spending it. So you see the two things are in conflict a little bit, the high and the anxiety. And you're going out to buy all this stuff for Pesach. Wonderful. It's a hag. It's a mitzvah. You're sanctifying the day. You're celebrating the fact that the Jewish people came out of slavery. There's all these wonderful reasons why we're celebrating. And yet we go in there into the crowds and into the push and into the overwhelming aisles of things to buy. And you're like, what? Oh, too much. Where's my phone? I'm just going to order Pesach, send it on a cart. But really, of course, the job is to be ourselves, our centered selves, even in those situations, and not let the material world overwhelm our spiritual good sense. And the spiritual good sense is to get, finish up in the mall and head out to the forest and be alone with the green. Everything's blossoming now in Israel. The flowers are everywhere. You hear the birds singing, and you see this is where we're supposed to be. This is the Gan Eden we were made for. So you should be blessed with a taste of that on Shabbat, and go out to the forest. Get away from people. Get away from the noises. Get away from every technological advance. The real technology and the real advance is, of course, being close with Hashem on the holy day of Shabbat. We'll see you next week on the outlets. Check us out on Patreon. We got new stuff coming out, and God willing, we'll experience the Pesach this coming Wednesday night in a way that we never have before. All the best. We'll see you again.